Hello, hello, this is Tara, and this is time for episode 2 of my Blizzard World theme park series. What we're going to look at first is I took the planters that you saw in the very first shot and I toned them way down. The amount of plants, the amount of color was to me a little garish, and I looked at it for a few days and I couldn't warm up to it. I knew it was too much, so I stripped all the flowers and all the plants out of here and went ahead and added a little more sparsely. There's still color and it's still beautiful, but it's just not as much as I had originally, and I think that's appropriate for this area. This is going to be a common path. People are going to walk down it, and just a bomb of color. You just don't see that in parks, and unless it's like at the front grand entryway, and it just didn't work. And I kind of carried that theme through on the plants or the trees as well, and I took that all away. Went with just a simple tree, simple planter, and left it at that. So I'm real happy with how this turned out. Got the plants all fixed up, and I feel way more at peace with the plants as they are. So the next thing we went ahead and I started looking at is the coaster station. And this coaster station, ooh, I just did not like it. It was not even, it was just not coming together the way I wanted it to, and I thought the best way to fix that would be to get rid of it, start all over again. So I went ahead and did exactly that. I took the entire coaster station out. I did like those weird little windows I had at the end, but it was not working, and I just wanted to do a little bit more linear, a little cleaner, and so I cleaned this all up and went ahead and fixed the station so it looked more square. I also added a little bit of custom pathing in the outside. I have a hard time with these, or not pathing, but a queue railing, and I have a hard time with the curves and the built-in pieces, and I actually really like making custom railings, but there's such a limited amount of pieces that it's hard to do these corners. So these little short pieces are perfect, and they go along with the theme that we're already using, and they look appropriate for this. So out the back side, I will also be using this kind of railing, and we'll see how that turns out. But I thought these turned out nice. It's a simple little area. I think it goes fine with the net piratey fencing that I already have in place. It's a really long queue line, and I don't know that I would want to do the whole thing custom, but you never know. What I'm doing here is I'm working on the sign, and I think the sign really carries a lot of more weight than we give it credit for. The sign itself shows, where the ride is, what the ride's called, why it's important. And so what I did is I just took some simple shapes and made the letters, and then put rocks behind it, and then decorated it with a variety of different mine things, things that were appropriate for the type of ride it was. And I think it turned out real good. I added railings, or not railings, railroad ties, and some gold, some pirate chests, and different things to just give it that miney feel, so that when people looked at it and they were like, oh, well, that must have something to do with the mine, other than the name, of course. So I used, like I said, some little gold pieces and stuff like that, used different objects inside, on top of it. How much of it you can see from the ground, it's, some of it, but you will see it on rides, and you will see it when you're in the air and different places. So I went ahead and I added the skull. I didn't like that the skull you could see through its eyes, so I went ahead and filled those in. And then the other more important thing, or one of the more important things, is lighting. So I went ahead and added lighting. I picked a green in this case. I'm not sure that I'm satisfied with the green, especially because most of the stuff we do here is not green. It's that amber and gold tones. I don't know why I picked blue for the sign. Again, we use those ambers and gold tones. And then at the end, I put support, so I try to add a little bit of realism here, so it's not like just floating over the top of the building. It looks like it's actually connected to someone. I don't think anybody in their right mind would ever look, but I know, and I guess sometimes that's all that matters, is if you know and if you do it right. Making sure that things aren't over into the bottom of the thing coming through, and I think it turned out real good. I'm real satisfied with it. I think it turned out to be a very nice sign. Not a lot I would want to change on it right now, and I think I'm going to keep it generally the way it is. Like I said, I may change the colors and stuff like that, but overall I like it. It's starting to get to the point of where making decorations for along the queue is important, and so that is what I am doing here. I wanted to have a couple pirate houses right here next to this curve on this queue, and so I'm putting one together, and I feel at the beginning it's not working. I know it's not going to work. I know it's going to fail, and it just, yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly. Let's all face it, it's ugly. And so it goes away. And so I go ahead and take a break, and I mess a little bit with supports, and I look at these, and it's kind of the same situation. I look at them. I do a couple of them, especially on these highest areas, because those are going to be the ones that are seen the most. And I look at them, and I just know they're not great. I know they're not great. So I go ahead and play with them a little bit and see what I can do, and then go back to trying to work on that queue line stuff. So here I am working on some more pirate housing, and now I've gotten the hang of it, and I feel better about it, and I'm starting to add pieces and shapes and just kind of theme it out now that I've got the housing, the basic housing done. I'm getting a better feel of how things are put together. You got to give it enough time to give it detail. So after I've done a bunch of theming, and you can see some of it there, I'm looking at this corner over here by the back of the house, and I think probably a staff room, and I try to add things. I want to have a little bit of backstage area for everything, and so the staff room is what I've done. You can also see that I've changed the queue lines inside, so each one have those wood panels. So it just adds a little extra detail. You know, it's about adding that extra detail, and I think this extra little jaunt out here gives the building a little more depth and a little more shape, and I just fill it in with basic stuff. Then I went back and did some more pirate housing. So, you know, I jump around a little bit when I do stuff. These are all put in order of recording. I don't literally record everything, but I record a lot, and these I'm even happier with as far as the houses themselves. I've gotten a pretty good feel of how to put things together, how to make them look good, and so these last three I think turned out really well, and I do reuse them. I've gone ahead and made blueprints and reused them later on. Add some scaffolding, add a bunch of little bits and pieces, things that give it a certain uniqueness so that it doesn't, everything's not the same, you know. You want things to have a little bit of variety, a little bit of difference. You know, you'll notice each house is a little bit of a different color, and I think that helps sell it, for lack of a better term. Now again, they're on a roller coaster, or they're a million miles away in a line. You want the feeling for it. I've looked at a lot of games and stuff, and I've noticed a lot of stuff is reused and reused and reused. Things like Overwatch and games like that. It's not, what we're doing is not special or unique to amusement parks or even video games. So I've kind of embraced that. And, you know, it's the details, little things, you know, the little borders, the little curves, signs. I think I put some swords on top of this to make it more piratey. I think I add some barrels and boxes and those kinds of things. And I think all of that together just sells the theme, you know. I look at it and I think pirate. And I guess that's really all that matters in the end. And I think other people will look at it and be like, oh, that's piratey, you know, that looks piratey to me. So that's what I've done here, and I'm real happy with it. There's still a lot that is on the outside, that's behind the housing and on the side of the coaster that just is going to be dead space. So I have themed out little areas of that, and it gives you a feel for what the park itself is going to be like. I don't want it too full, you know. So here we are taking a look at the park overall. I'm pretty happy with the way it's coming together. I'm not sure why these are so fuzzy, but here we are taking a look, getting a feel for how it's laid out, how it's coming together. I've got people in the park now, some other areas that you'll see later. I'm happy with it. I think it's going really well. So I appreciate everyone taking the time to look at my videos and come and visit. There will be more. If you're liking them, if you're enjoying them, if you're learning anything, go ahead and subscribe and leave a comment, and we'll see what we can do. Thanks again, everyone. Come visit me again. Bye-bye.